Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. Last week I did a video on Antix Linux. I showed how to install it and how to use it. And because I'm new to Antix Linux, I was pronouncing it wrong. I was pronouncing it Antix Linux. And after I published it, I found out the correct pronunciation is Antix Linux. So I apologize to the developers and to the users for mispronouncing it. So I've been using it for a week. It's not my daily driver because my daily driver is Arch Linux, and at work my daily driver is Windows 10. But I've been using it and playing with it, and I've been using it in the virtual machine of virt-manager with QEMU and KVM at home in my Arch Linux system, and I've also been using it in a virtual machine at work in VMware. So I've learned how to do a few things in it, and I thought I'd do an updated video. So let's get to it. I'm in my Arch Linux system, and I'm in virt-manager. And I'm going to click on Antix. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to make it full screen, and I'm going to hit enter. So it's just booting up, and of course I don't know if it does this on bare metal, but it does it in virt-manager, my virtual machine in virt-manager, and it also does it in my virtual machine in VMware. You get this message, display output is not active. So I don't know if it does that in bare metal or not, but you can ignore it. Now at the top it's telling you to unlock the disk, Lux, because I encrypted this drive when I did the installation. So I'm going to put my encryption password in, and I'm going to let it boot up. And it brings me to the login manager or the display manager. So I'm going to type in my name. Now, if you notice, it doesn't remember my username, which is kind of good. It's good and bad. It's good because it makes it harder for someone to hack into your system if they don't know what your username is. But it's kind of bad because every time you log in, you got to type in your username. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to change that. So I'm going to put my username in, Mensch, hit enter, and I'm going to put my password in. And now we're logged into the awesome window manager with my configuration. Now, of course, the awesome window manager is not installed by default. I installed that after the fact when I made my video last week. That was something I added into the system. So one of the nice things about Antix Linux is it comes installed with these other window managers. And you can switch between window managers and desktops without having to log out. Now, the advantage of doing that is that in other Linux distributions, to switch between them, you have to log out, which means you have to put your username back in and your password back in. But here, you can switch between window managers or desktops without having to log out, without having to put your username back in, and without having to put your password back in. So all these are installed by default except for the awesome window manager. So every time you log in, this window pops up with all these window managers, and you can click on, like we're already in, if you go to another workspace, we're already in the awesome window manager. And that's the other thing is when you log out or power down, it always remembers the last window manager or desktop environment you were in, and that's the one that comes on the login menu. So we're already in Awesome, but every time we log into Awesome, this is going to pop up. And you can just OK it. And if you don't want it to pop up, you can disable the window. Now, if you disable this window, this won't pop up anymore when you're logging in. But if you change your mind after the fact, and you want it to pop up when you log in, you can do it, but it's a little more complicated than just pushing a button. You're going to have to go into some configuration files and change things. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let's disable it for now. So we're going to disable it, and let's log out. Let's quit. And if it's working, it should not pop up. So let's type in my username, hit enter. Let's type in my password. And see, now it's not going to pop up anymore. That's kind of nice. It's not popping up in your face when you don't need it. But the thing is, like I said, if you change your mind and you want it to pop up, you have to go into configuration file and change a configuration file. It's a little more complicated than just pushing a button or an icon. Now, the other thing is that when I did my video last week, I couldn't fix the clock. So you can see right now it's 4:30 here, Eastern Standard Time, but the clock is automatically set to universal time. Last week, when I did my installation, I went and I was playing with it. I went into the GUI and tried to change it, and I couldn't change it. I even installed the Cinnamon desktop and tried to change it within there because that's easy to use, and I couldn't do it. And I've been mucking around with it for a whole week. Now, the funny thing is that when I installed Antix Linux this past week, I installed it at work in my Windows 10 computer using VMware. And the clock was fine. I was able to fix the clock and it stayed. So even when I reboot my system at work into the virtual machine, into the Antix virtual machine, the time is always correct. But for some reason at home here in my Arch Linux system, in Virt Manager, when I change the clock, it doesn't stay. But I learned how to do it. I learned how to fix it, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And another thing that I learned how to do is, if you notice that, and I've said this many times in my videos, that when you're installing Linux distributions and virtual machines, many times, or probably most of the time, you have to fix the resolution, and you won't have to do it if you're installing it in bare metal. But when you're installing these Linux distributions and virtual machines, most of the time you have to fix the display resolution. Now, the display resolution right now is good because I'm in the Awesome Window Manager, and this is my own configuration that I use in every Linux distribution whenever I download and install the Awesome Window Manager. So this is my own configuration. So I have the display programmed into the configuration file so that it works properly, or the way I like it, in my virtual machines. But now I'm going to switch. Now I'm going to log out. Let's log out. And you know what? I'm going to switch. So to switch between desktops, you hold the mod key down and hit the P and type in OT for other desktop. See, it comes up there, and you hit enter. And let's go to their first default one, which is ZZZ ICE WM, and hit OK. Now we're in ICE WM. Now, another thing I'm going to show you what to do is, in the last video, I showed you how to turn the Conky off, but when you reboot, the Conky is going to be on again. So that's another thing. I'm going to show you how to turn the Conky off so it never goes on when you're booting into the system. Now, of course, you can see the resolution is nice. Let's log out. And you know what? I'm going to reboot. Well, let's see if logging out does it, because I want to show you what's going on. Now, it remembers the last window manager you were in. So let's do mench password and see how now so we didn't have to reboot. We logged out and we logged back in, and it doesn't remember the resolution. Now, there is a GUI application in here where you can change the resolution, but it only changes it for this session. When you log out and back in, it's going to be like this. The only thing that's working properly is my Awesome Window Manager, because like I said, I have my own configuration file and I have the resolution set in there. So, and again, the clock. There's a GUI application to change the clock, but if I change it, it will be fixed for this session. But once I log out and reboot the system and log back into the system, it will be back to universal time instead of Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to show how to fix that as well. So what I'm going to do is right click, I'm going to go to Control Center, and I'm going to go to System. and then go set date and time. Let's click it on. I'm going to ask my password. I'm going to choose the time zone. Let's enter it. And can I make this large screen? Well, I guess not, eh? Can I bring this more to the center? So I'm just going to hit US, Eastern, and it doesn't fix it because it's only 4:43 here. Because right now, Universal Time is 4 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. So let's try this one. Let's do set current time. And hit enter. Now, when this bar comes up, this is 24-hour, not AM, PM. So right now it's 16:44, not 20:44. So I'm going to change it to 16. Let's hit enter. Okay. And now it's 4:44. But watch what happens. Quit. Let's close this. So what I'm going to do is power down. Shut down. So we just shut down, and now I'm going to restart the system. Let's go in, hit enter. Let's put my, let's make it full screen. Put my encryption password in. Now we're at the login screen. Put my name in, enter, put my password in, and see, so we powered down, shut right down, powered back up, and now it's saying 8:46 when it should be 4:46. I'm going to open the terminal, and I'm going to make it full screen, and I'm going to type in this command, sudo apt install ntp sec. Hit enter, put my password in, say yes, and let it install. Now, if you notice, the clock is fixed. So let's close this, and look at that, it fixed the clock. Now the test is going to be power down and power back in and see if the clock is still fixed. Now another thing is there's a GUI application in here to change the resolution, but whenever I power down or log out and log back in, the resolution comes back like this. It's only working in my Awesome because, like I said, I have my own configuration file for Awesome. So what I'm going to do is change it so the resolution is permanent. And that resolution that I change, it's going to affect all these window managers that are in here. So let's go to other desktop. All these window managers are going to be fixed with the new resolution that I add to it, except for Awesome because that's already done. And like I said, I have my own configuration file there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the resolution for all the built-in window managers, and it's going to work regardless of whether you log into another one or log out or power down and reboot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Control Center, right here, Control Center. And I'm going to click on Session. See this one here, Session? And then I'm going to go here and click on User Desktop Session. I'm going to click it. Let's make it full screen. Now this is the configuration file. It's in Genie, which is a GUI text editor. And I'm going to go to this first line right here. Well, sorry, oops. I'm going to go to this line here where it says auto scale. And instead of, I could delete it, but instead of deleting it, let's just comment it out. I'm going to put the number sign there to deactivate the line. Okay, so let's just do that. Okay, so now the line is deactivated in case I ever want to use it again. And now I'm going to go down. Oops, not in Vim. And you know what? I'm going to leave a space just for cosmetic. I'm going to type in this command xrandr s -s 1360 by 768, and I'm going to save the file. File, save. Okay, for some reason I thought there was something else in this file I wanted to fix, but Maybe I'm not remembering right. So we saved the file already, so it says it's not saved. Let's save it. Let's close. And let's close this. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm going to go back to Control Center. And I'm going to type in System. And I'm going to go to Edit Configuration Files. I'm going to click that on. And this has different tabs here, like it would as if you were in a web browser, kind of like that. So you see all these different tabs. So I'm just going to use this little arrow here and go through the tabs until I get to this one. slimski.local.conf. Okay. slimski.local.conf. And then I'm just going to scan down and I'm going to change a few things. And the first thing I'm going to change is this line 109. And actually, I don't have to change it because it's on true. If yours is on false, you can change it to true. Then I'm going to go down. And here where it says Numlock enabled false, I'm going to change that to true. So I'm just going to put my mouse there. I'm going to take out the word false. I'm going to put true in. So when I boot up into the system, the numbers on the side of my keyboard will automatically be turned on. Or if you want to say my number lock will automatically be turned on for the numbers on the side of my keyboard. Then I'm going to go down and this bottom line where it says Mensch, I'm going to take out this number sign at the beginning. I'm going to delete the number sign or the hashtag, and that's going to activate the line. And I'm going to save the file. Save. And let's get out of it. So what I did is that I just made it so that when I power down and I log into the system, if I did it right, my name Mensch should automatically be in the field and the cursor should automatically be flashing or blinking in the password field. Now next, I'm going to open up a terminal again. I like Xterm. I prefer it more than the one that they gave us. And I am going to ls-a. Oops. And I'm going to go into this folder, period or dot desktop session. Okay. So I'm going to cd into there, cd dot desktop session. Oops. And now I'm going to ls it again. And I'm going to go into this file, not defaults, but I'm going to go into this one, desktop session conf. Okay. So I'm going to vim into it. Vim desktop, this one right here, vim desktop session conf, not the defaults one. I'm going to vim into it. And I'm going to scan down and make some changes. So right here we have this line, load Conky equals true. I'm going to change that to false. So when I boot into the system, the Conky's not going to pop up. Okay. False. Now I'm going to save the file. And I'm going to scan down just to see if there's anything else in here I want to change. Okay, so the next thing to deal with is here. This line that says other desktop windows. Now this line, it was true. By default, it's set at true. And this is for that window that pops up, like when we log into the awesome window manager, that window pops up with all those other desktop environments and window managers, so you can click one of them on. Well, this was set to true, but when we push the button to disable it, it automatically set it to false. So it doesn't pop up anymore. So let's say you change your mind and you like that thing popping up. It's not a nuisance to you and you want it to pop up when you go into the awesome window manager. So you're going to go to this line and you're going to put it to true. And we're going to save the file. So now we're going to log out. Let's quit out of there. And I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to power right down. Okay. Let's log out. Let's shut down. And I'm going to boot back into the system. And I want to see if all the changes I made took effect and they're working. And I also need to see if I forgot to do something, because I had several changes I wanted to show you and I didn't write them down. So I got to think, did I forget to do something? So we've powered down. Let's restart the system now. Let's make it full screen. Hit enter. And of course, we can ignore this display output is not active. And at the top, you can see, please unlock Dislux. So I'm going to put my encryption password in. So number one, Mensch. It remembered my name is Mensch. We changed that, so we don't have to type it in anymore. Number two, the cursor is automatically in the password field. You can see up there the cursor is in the password field, so we don't have to move it to it. So let's put my password in. And voila. The new resolution is automatically working. And the clock is fixed. It's at Eastern Standard Time, right here. It's at Eastern Standard Time instead of Universal Time. And the resolution is fixed. And you know what we could do is, you see the wallpaper's a little off here. I'm going to go to log out. I'm just going to restart the session. There we go, it's fixed. Now let's change to one of the other window managers, other desktops. Let's go to, I don't know, JWM. And see, in JWM, the resolution is good. Let's go to another one. Let's go to Fluxbox. And the resolution is fixed in Fluxbox. Now the bar is a little bit off, but I don't know why that is. And let's go back to ICE WM, Z-ICE WM. There we go. Now we can go from here into other desktops. Let's go into Awesome. And there we are, we're in the Awesome Window Manager. And why did that pop up? Oh, because we fixed it. Didn't we? We fixed it. We changed it so it pops up. Right? We turned it off and then we turned it on. Now, so let's say I want to go to one of the other window managers. I'm going to hold the mod key down and hit the P. Type in O, T, and right here, you can see we're at other desktops. I'm going to hit enter and it brings up the menu. And let's go to JWM. Hit OK. And now we're in JWM with the proper resolution and the proper clock. And the Conky doesn't pop up. See, I stopped the Conky from popping up as well. And let's go into desktop. Let's go other desktops. Let's go into the ZZZ ICE WM. And the resolution is good there. The clock is good. The time is right. And the Conky is gone. Now there is one more thing I want to show before I go. A Rhythmbox is a music player that's available in all Linux distributions. And it's a music player that I use, but it doesn't come installed by default in Antix Linux. So I'm going to go into the terminal and install it. And of course you can go into the software center and install it, but I'm going to do it in the terminal. And I'm going to log out of here. I'm just tired of this. To tell you the truth, I'm not used to using their window managers, even though I've been playing with this for a week. Let's go to other desktops. Let's go to Awesome. And I'm going to open up my terminal. I'm going to do sudo apt install Rhythmbox. Put my password in. And I'm doing this for a reason. And I'm doing this because I'm going to compare this to a video I do down the road. So that's why I'm throwing this in the video. And I think I already installed this in my last video that I did on Antix Linux. And you might be saying, well, why are you installing it again? Because I have 2 virtual machines of Antix Linux because I've been playing with it. And when I made the video a week ago, I used the other virtual machine of Antix Linux rather than this one. So whenever we install a system in OS Window Manager, we have to restart it. There you go. And let's open up Rhythmbox. Here it is here in my menu. And there it is. Rhythmbox is working. And there's a reason why I did this. And I'll talk about it in a future video of a different Linux distribution. So let's go mod key P, type in ETH for other desktops, hit enter, and let's go back to their default one. Well, let's do rocks. I don't know what all these ones are. Rocks JWM. And there we are. Antix Linux. So I did this video. I know I did an Antix video just a week ago. And I've been playing around with the system and using it for a week and learning how to do a few different things. And like I said, I thought I would do an updated video. So in this video, I showed you how to fix the clock so you're in the right time zone. I showed how to turn off Conky so when you reboot into your system, Conky doesn't pop up. I showed how to turn off the window manager menu. So when you log in, when you boot into your system and log in, the window manager menu doesn't pop up. And I showed you how to turn that back on if you want it back on. I showed you how to fix the resolution so it stays and it sticks even when you reboot the system. I also showed you how to turn your number locks on. So when you boot into the system, your numlocks or your side number keys are automatically turned on. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.